We can see everybody's face bright and clear. Hey, everyone! Whoa! You're welcome to another live. How are you doing? Happy Saturday! Oh my God, the weather is so cold. I'm wondering if that's the reason why people are still single. But, anyways, you're all very welcome to the Dear Mrs. Singles Live. We have I'm the only lady today. I hope they're not going to fry. They're not going to finish me dry. Let's see how it goes. Let me look. Let me hope that another lady comes to join me and let's rock this thing, lady to lady, man to man. Why are so many Christians still single? Okay, if you don't know who we are, we're the DLBC Singles. My name is Princess, and I have David. I have Obina here. There's appellation Dr. Obina, Mr. David. I don't know Mr. David is good. Sister Princess, if you want to call me that with appellations. I'm so happy and delighted to be here. I brought the single men here. Let them explain to us why so many men are still single. Okay, I'm going to hear from them and then I'll tell them what I think from a female's perspective. This is the DLBC Singles, and we're a group of single people and a few married people. We talk about Christian relationships and we're always honest here. Here we spill the tea, we say it the way it is, and we try to learn and we try to make sure that people, you know, watch what they need to see, red flags, green flags, so that people are getting the right husbands and wives. Some people have gotten married through our group, our page, and some have shared with us they've had children and they're still with us. Some of them have moved on to the married group, but we're still here. And today, this topic it's a very important topic, and I think that you want to listen to why. Why are so many Christians still single? Okay, because the Bible said we should go and multiply, right? And we should go and get married. You see, Eve was brought to Adam. Eve was brought to Adam, and they were married. You know, the man said, "This is woman." Okay, he's a man, and he got a woman, and then they started living their lives together. And so, what's happening with the men? It didn't take too long. God did the job, and then He took the rib out, and He created a woman. And why is it not so simple? Why is it not happening like that? Why is it that men are still like searching, single, waiting, scared, or maybe too picky, or I don't know what I'm going to say. Men, tell us why is it that so many Christians are still single? I think there are so many ways to look at it. There are lots of talking points. So let us go right into it. So I hope that if you guys are here joining us for the first time and you have something to input, please feel free to input your thoughts. Why do you think so many Christians are still single? Are we not so children, children of God, and don't we just have the promises of God to, settle us and give us our heart desires? Why is it that so many, Christians are still single, even up to this year? So let's start, Robin. Now, what do you think? Why is it that so many men are still so many Christians? It's not just men, women too. We have ladies who are hitting 36, 37, and they're still very single. What's going on? What do you think is the reason why? Let's start from the man's perspective. Why do you think Christian men are still single?
Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, I guess I can only speak from the male side of things. So
Mhm.
there are various um should I don't know I don't there are various factors I can enumerate
Mhm.
on the men's side. Look, so I can only speak on what a Christian man like myself is looking at or observing when I'm you understand when I'm looking and evaluating. The first thing is the person has to be a Christian. That's like basic. But
Okay.
that basic question is so, I don't know how to put it. It's so tricky in the sense that we are not God, so we can't see the lady's heart.
Yeah.
But the Bible tells us that by their fruit you shall know them. So we can only go by the fruits we um, observe, or if it's not a visible fruit, it will be intuition or spiritually what we kind of perceive, kind of.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the person has to be a Christian lady, that is where it gets tricky because we often observe that even people that we would assume that are believers in church for many years, some of them were born in church, some of them even hold positions like whatever usher, what they are workers in the church.
Mm.
When you watch their lives, there's that song that said, "Let others see Jesus in you," isn't it?
Yeah.
Your life's a book before their eyes. They are reading it through and through. When I look at their lives, I'm almost asking myself, is this person a Christian? So that's the first step. Now, the interesting thing is that leaders often either they do not observe this or they observe it and trivialize it
Mm.
because since we like men we are the ones that will marry the ladies, isn't it? So we can't trivialize this thing because you look at the person, you discuss with the person. I don't know how to put it. It's when for me when I look at it, I'm almost getting the feeling that this person is actually in the world. The person just attends church. Their scale of priorities is upside down, meaning, let's say for me as a Christian man, if my first priority is God, trying to live righteously, that's my first priority.
Yeah.
When I interact with them, what I get from them, their first priority is to live a comfortable life. That's their first priority. This thing I'm saying, I'm not trying to like, stoke discussion or argument, but I've observed it. Now, if other men do not observe the same thing I'm observing, they can, put their type in the comment and say whatever they see. But this is what I've been observing and also discussing with other men.
Mhm.
So you see that even the fundamental stuff of being a Christian, I think let me make it as simple as possible. That you call yourself a Christian, it might be true, but if you don't, I was speaking with David the other day. I said for some people, if they do not tell you if they do not tell you that they are Christians, you would never have guessed.
Mm.
So that's let me just stop at that number one point. I'll hand it over to David or Sister Princess. You can give us feedback. However, I'm done with my number one point. So over
Okay.
to you guys. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, you see, everything that you just said just now resonates perfectly with me, right? And I think that's why a lot of brothers in church are now thinking twice about marriage. Like the other part of it is that when we go to church, okay, we are now talking about Christian women, right?
Yeah.
We go to church, we are expecting that what we see in church is going to be different from what we see outside.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, we are seeing even worse in church. So, like, you will see a sister in church, looking all holy and everything and looking good. Give her the chance to be by herself in another environment. You will see a different story. Remember when we used to talk, I used to tell you that some of these people used to talk about in church. I used to tell you that if you know them one on one, all these things you're talking doesn't hold any water at all. So this is one of the things that is just making a lot of men think that okay, so like I mean, if 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 it's a Christian wife that I'm looking for, and I don't trust the sisters in church that call themselves Christians, so what's the
Mm.
point of even getting married in the first place, right? There's no point. The appeal is not there. Like the because no man wants to commit himself to a marriage and then knowing fully well that there is a chance that he's going for the rocks. Why would I want to do that?
Mm.
Because we already can see the fundamental, like a lot of reasonable brothers in church. If you're not lying to yourself, if you see a sister that has red flags, you know for a fact because we spend a lot of time trying to. I mean, we are now adults now. Like we've been with women for a very long time. We've been studying. It's our job to know how women are because if you don't, you have no chance with them. Women just stay like this, and then multiple guys comes to them to propose for marriage. We have to actively like try to understand understand who you are, right? And a lot of us have already developed a kind of sense of when we look at you, you hear you talk, we already know the quality of woman you are already. So if we keep saying a lot of double standard women like in church, I mean, what's the point even of even getting married? I think that's part of the pandemic of a lot of Christian men
So when you state
and
double standard, what does that mean? Talking about dressing? Are you talking about beliefs? Are you talking about mentality?
beliefs, dressings, mentality. They will say in one hand they believe in the scriptures, but what they spew out of their mouth is feminism. Like, so what are we doing, right? You say you want to be a Christian, you want to follow, you want a Christian man, you want a Christian husband, right? But you're saying things like, "Oh, me, I want soft life. All I'm looking for is soft life."
So does it mean that when
And
someone wants soft life, doesn't mean that they cannot have soft life and a Christian husband?
is that the essence of marriage? Soft life? That's not the essence of marriage.
Sorry, let me chime in here and you continue, David. Sister Princess, let me put it to you this way. I've seen a particular quote. I think this quote will buttress the fact. The quote goes like this: it seems that one of God's purposes for marriage for human beings is to make them holy more than to make them happy. Do you
Hmm.
get it? So, of course, you might want a soft life, but if that is your priority, you've got your priorities mixed up. I think
Definitely.
that's so. If the lady is like, oh, God, I would love a soft life, but I know that holiness or whatever, righteousness should be my number one. That's a different discussion than when the lady is more like, I don't want stress in my life, or you understand that kind of thing. That's her priority. I think that's where the disconnect is. Sorry,
Yeah,
David, continue.
and yeah, you put it perfectly. And the other thing is that a lot of women think that the men of today, most of the time, they're only looking for a sister that will do 50-50 with them. They don't really understand why a lot of men are opting for that. Of course, there are some men that are just totally, the way they think about marriage is just obviously wrong. But like, a lot of them think that, oh, I need to attain a certain level of financials, whatever, to actually qualify to be a good wife. That's not the case. Being a good wife does not necessarily mean that you have to be a certain way and in terms of finance, right?
Mm.
The main thing, just like Robina said, the main thing you want to marry somebody that can actually help you to grow, to be both of you go to heaven at the end of the day, right? Well, if for example for men, we're now talking about men, we're not talking about women's side. We're just saying from the point of view of a man, like if you keep constantly saying that these sisters in church, what the things that spew out from their mouths is just flaky. It's like they don't have their basis of their thinking based on real Christian beliefs, or they are just thinking about like, okay, this is what so and so has done here, and it's all popular, and they're aspiring to be so and so person through the means of a marriage. I mean, why would a man, for example, uh, I just laugh when I look at all those sisters that always say that, oh, I want a soft life, soft life. You yourself that are saying you want a soft life, do you qualify? Do you qualify as a category of the woman that a guy that will give you that soft life would want? That's the one part they don't even think about. Like a guy that has all those qualities that you're looking for, his standards are also very interesting. But a lot of them, they don't reevaluate themselves and look at like, okay, me that I'm targeting this top of the top, top to the creme. I mean, do I necessarily have the qualities that that guy wants? If you don't have it, then why are you going for that? Why do you think that you deserve to have that? You don't. And unfortunately, whether we like it or not, the amount of number one, first thing, the amount of men available that are single, very less. That's number one. Number two, the amount of guys that are Christian, very less. Number three, I'm just giving you the layer of filtering. The level of top guys that are Christians, very few. So now, do you think that all of you that are thinking that you want that soft life, do you think is a rational thinking that you're actually going to get that guy that you're looking for? Not. You're not going to get it because a, a guy that is a Christian. Number one, that is taking his Christianity serious. Do you think he's going to get himself entangled with any type of woman? You think he's stupid enough to not even see your double standard lifestyle from afar just because you come to church? You must be joking. Then the other thing is a guy that has built his life to a certain level. He doesn't want a woman to come and destroy it for him, just like Samson was destroyed by Delilah, right? So why would I want to? Because you sing in the choir, you come to church, you didn't pray prayers. You think that just automatically qualifies you to become a good wife. It doesn't work like that. So when we look at all these factors, I think those are some of the things that is really affecting the rate of people getting married. You know, from the guy's point of view. Now, also the other part that we cannot ignore is that some of these guys they've been through a lot of interesting relationships in the past, right? Where they invested their time and emotions and everything about them to a sister that seemingly looks to be Christianly, and it fell apart. What do you expect them to do the next time they're looking for another sister that they think that will be potential? Obviously, you're going to think twice before you make a pick. You're going to be extra. You're going to be extra cautious about the type of person you want to get married to. So, adding all of these things, it makes it even. It makes the rate of people getting married in church even way lesser. And it's not just in the church now. It has become like a secret men language around the world, right? It's not just in church now, it's now everywhere. Most men, especially even the ones that got divorced, they keep telling other younger men that, oh, listen, it's not worth it. Trust me, I've done it for 20 years. It's not worth it. Like, if you keep hearing that from outside, right? Obviously, it's normal to start thinking, huh, maybe there is something wrong with um, our society as a whole. And until it's been fixed, you'll be very skeptical about marriage because like the incentive is no longer there, right? If a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I got married and my life was destroyed from it," no, I mean, no, most men don't want to do that, right? And at the end of the day, all those it becomes a thing that is a bigger problem because a lot of sisters will not get married, children will not get born, the society will start getting even smaller and smaller and smaller because I mean, uh, nobody wants to marry somebody that is not going to be what they want, right? So I just stop there.
Wow. Well, from you guys, me, well, in my opinion, I don't think that there's anything wrong in wanting a soft life as a Christian woman. When I was a single, I'm trying to get married. I did not want the man that would make my life hard. I didn't want hard life. But does it mean that I wasn't willing to put in the work to also create that soft life? Of course. I believe in working hard. I believe in having a good job. I believe in being able to take care of myself in a certain way, but I did not expect that I would be in marriage and stop calling me. Wait 1 minute. Okay.
But the truth of it is that when you are talking about soft life, for you, you're coming with the mindset that, okay, soft life doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to add no value. Maybe that's what you mean by soft life. But the term soft life used by all these sisters, so-called sisters, is that they want to come to marriage, fold their hands, add no value, and just be be getting all these things that they're hoping for, right? And no brother. I don't think there's any brother. Bro, Obina, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's any brother that would want to marry a sister and be like, "Oh, I want you to suffer." Who thinks that? Nobody thinks that. Even the brother himself does not want to suffer. Who wants to suffer? Nobody wants to suffer.
Yeah. So, but
So
when you say soft life, when you say that women want soft life, what do you mean by soft life?
Let me I think sorry, let me chime in here. Let me put it this way to you, Sister Princess. When you were about to marry your husband,
Yeah.
when you were praying, hmm,
Yes.
your prayer goes like this: God, I've struggled in this life. Oh, please give me a husband that already has a house, at least has two cars, or will buy one for me. Maybe once a week, we will hire like a maid to clean the house, do meal prep for the week. That is your focus of your prayer. When you understand what I mean now. You are
Mhm.
not even bothered about, oh, is this man in a secret society?
hmm,
Mm.
So when we are saying soft life, don't misunderstand what we are trying to say. We are not saying, oh, brothers want to. Well, some brothers might be crazy anyway, but normal Christian brother, I don't think a normal Christian brother wants to marry a woman and say, "See, God, thank you, you've given me someone to oppress." That is not. That's not what we are saying. That's not what we are going for. But all we are saying is, in terms of priority, assuming you're single, and I come to you and I say, "Hey, Sister Princess, this, that," and all I'm hearing from you is, "Bro, where do you work?" I tell you. Around what's the range of your salary? I tell you. Ah, you kind of next time I call you, you did not pick my call till next 2 weeks because there's another brother. This is practical because there's another brother that whose yearly salary is maybe 20,000 more than my own.
and he's talking to
In
you.
in that situation, Sister Princess, tell me, are we still discussing Christianity?
Are ladies doing that?
You
What
can
do you
Yes,
ask
mean by
your
that?
they
you
are
you
doing that.
you can ask your fellow
Okay,
ladies.
let me give you an
Let
example. Let me give her an example that she can resonate with, right? Do you remember it? uh, I don't know if they're watching this, but in
No, call their
there's a
names.
particular there's a particular church, right?
Yes.
Two brothers that I told you about. One
Mm-hmm.
was a certain way. Hmm?
Yeah.
He looked a certain way.
Yeah.
He approached his sister, and
Yeah.
how did she treat him? You remember that story I told you? The way she treated him, right? She treated him in a very um, terrible way. She said that he was doing this, he was doing that. But
Mm.
then, right? Well, then when another brother was approaching her, what did I tell you she was asking about? Or what does he do? Blah 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 blah. Right? And then, but she's still having a good relationship with that person. Why is that?
She's still having a good relationship with the brother that she looks down on.
No, she doesn't
Okay, she
even
looks down
want
on
to
this
talk
one.
to
She
that.
feels he doesn't have money. He's not handsome. He's not her
Of
kind of
course,
man, and she just doesn't want to have anything to do with him.
of
But the other
course.
brother that she thinks that he has a little money.
He's
Is it money?
he's
Is it
handsome.
financial?
Yeah, yeah. It's money, finance, and he's handsome to some extent.
Okay. So she relates
So
better with him.
yeah,
So what's the
it's
question?
not it's not today. It's a lot. It's very 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 common. The I think the problem is sisters like you cannot see it because like you don't have that as your priority. What you're looking for is a good husband, somebody that is actually has
A
the
responsible man. Just a
qualities of it.
responsible, good man. A man that will not give you, that will not give me trouble. A man that is ready. I mean, that's not going to, mess with my peace. A man that's ready to work. I go to work. He goes to work. We build together. We share the same faith. We believe the same thing. Our children have the same, spiritual foundation, such that
Mhm.
I'm not speaking south and he's speaking west, but we're kind of speaking the same language. You know, when I talk, like when it's time for us to pray, we pray together. When it's time to discipline the kids, we're disciplining them together. We're on the same page. Like it's not a man that believes that his kids can open their ears as men
Do,
and then it's
do you
fine.
see how?
All those kind
Do
of
you
things.
see how?
So we're
Do
not
you see
polarized.
how? Do you see how your descriptions, your priorities of those descriptions are more different? These women we are talking about, a lot of them, their fundamentals is mostly about finance. How can this guy give me this kind of stuff? It doesn't matter if he's a good brother or not, right? A lot of them, that's their main focus. They don't even want to know, oh, how's the background of this brother? Oh, yeah, how is he like? They will first scan you, and the
But
first
it's
thing,
not.
the priority, the priority is that does he look that the type of person that fits into um, all of those things that I want to do, all the standards, all the Joneses I want to match up with online, right? Those are the things they think about. They think about, oh, will I make the biggest wedding among my friends? Will I be the first person to do the biggest wedding that everybody will talk about for years? Will I be able to drive a car that everybody else, all of my friends will not be able to drive the same car, right? Those are the things that is like the funny thing is men have started understanding women language. Women have been very very covert with how they communicate. They don't necessarily tell you upfront like, oh, I want a man with this kind of salary. No, no, no. Their language is very very interesting. They will tell you, I just want a good man. Now, if you unpack that good man, if you unpack it, you tell them, okay, what do you mean by good man? They'll tell you, yes, I want a God fearing man. That's just they just tell you just so that you just give them that tick. Okay, um, this one is a Christian sister. Okay, let's keep listening, and then they'll tell you, hmm, I want a brother that really that is good, that is very kind. When you start hearing the word like, I want a kind brother, you just know what they are talking about. I want a caring brother, a brother that cares. They don't really mean it in the sense of the real meaning of caring. No, their definition of that is that, oh, can you buy me this? Can you buy me that? Can you buy me this? Can you buy me that? That's what they are talking about. You see, the way you're looking at me like this. I have spoken to a lot of sisters. Me, I have a fun way of like trying to get into their head, and the things they tell me, I just laugh at some of them. And it doesn't matter where they're from. Oh. They could be Africans, they
British,
could be
Africans, Europeans,
Indians.
North American, Indians.
Most they are
It
almost
doesn't
the
matter the
same.
race.
It doesn't matter the race; they're almost the same. It's just that the way at which they present it is different, right? Some 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 ethnicities they will literally expect it from the get go, right? While some they will feel like, okay, I need to offer my value first upfront to show that I this is what I want, right? So it's like at the end of the day, what are we doing? Are we trying to get are we trying to get married for the sake of building a family, or are we trying to get married because we some people see it as a poverty alleviation program. You understand? So, while while some people see it as a way of leveling up with their friends that they've been competing with right from primary school. Come on,
Wow.
marriage is a serious thing, right? And that's the problem. That's why a lot of them they get married, and probably they get married to a very wealthy guy, but they didn't care to know how that guy is. And when they got comfortable in the marriage, they've gotten all the things that they were
Dreaming
longing for,
about.
dreaming about. They've shown off to the world, their friends. They have dominated all their friends groups, and then reality sinks in, and then they're like, "Oh, now I need what else?" They start looking at the guy's character, and then they realize, "Oops, maybe all of these things that I got didn't really fulfill what I really needed." Right? And then that's when you start seeing them start complaining that, "Oh, I'm suffering in this relationship." You suffering when you chose it. You're suffering, you know. And then next thing is, "Oh, I need a divorce." Like, come on, you need a divorce? I thought you wanted a soft life, right? And next thing they start complaining, "Oh, he's beating me." How come you didn't know that he's a violent person from the get go? Well, because you didn't do your research, right? You just see a nice brother that is smiling to you in church. He's been kind, he's been nice. You didn't even check if he really is rooted in the word of God, like he says he is. You just go ahead and like jump to the conclusion because you have your personal goal. Everybody has their personal goal when it comes to marriage, right? But like at the end of the day, if it's not balanced enough, if it's not if it doesn't have its foundation in the Bible, it's just a matter of time. It's a time ticking bomb. Just like same way goes for guys. Like a lot of guys, they just we just look at a sister in church. Oh, she's so nice. She's so humble. She's so kind.
I think
She's
it's
so
nice.
pretty. You know, she talks in a very
He
nice
sings
way.
well
Oh
in the
my
choir.
God, she sings well. She cooks very well.
Oh yeah.
We don't know that it's a Delilah in action. You know, waiting, waiting for you. At the end of the day, they'll be asking you, "What is the secret? What's the secret of your strength? Tell me, tell me. Don't you like me?" But in the end, it ends in destruction. So, I mean, let me just keep quiet.
But really, let me just say this. It's not all women that are like that. We've had stories of women who didn't think like that, who are not looking for the man's purse, or who are not looking at what the man is worth, or who are not looking at, what can he buy for me. Like, and listen, one day I had a medical appointment, and as I was sitting down, I wanted to pass time. I didn't want to just be blank, so I was scrolling through my phone, and then I fell on the story of this lady. Her story was so pathetic, and I felt some ladies become very apprehensive because of the experiences that they've had, maybe from their elder sisters or their aunties, or people that they know. What happened to this lady? She got married to a guy. She comes from a very wealthy family. Okay, and then she met this guy the guy didn't have a job. The guy was from a very humble background, and she kind of liked him. And he said he was a pastor, a Christian, a pastor in the church. She didn't mention the church, but from the way she explained it, it's like a very all these very gym, spiritual churches. And you know the list of them. Very like, okay, we should not look at all those things if we're going to do the will of God and all that. And she thought she was doing the will of God. And she brought him home. When she brought him home, her father was like, "No, you cannot be from this level, this kind of home, in this societal level, and want to marry a guy that is way, way below. Your thought process, your experiences are different. And when you start asking what you think is a normal, comfortable life, he thinks that you're asking for too much. You cannot get married to this guy. The father kicked against it. And so the guy, because the father said that the guy is poor, that she cannot marry him because he's poor, she made up her mind that she was going to marry him just because she felt that her father was looking down on him because of his status. Right? And she made sure she convinced her father, and then she got married to this guy. So she had a very good job, she had a very good car, she was already living in luxury. But you know how people from very wealthy homes just give their life to Jesus, and they feel like all these things, they don't want to focus on all the wealth of their family, they've given their all to the Lord. Like, let's say Otedola's daughter, or one of these big rich people, she gets married and she becomes so spiritual and she wants to just marry any man because the pastor has said you want to do the will of God and all that, and she's closing her eyes, she wants to do the will of God, and she gets married, and she got married to this guy only for the guy to, she noticed that he always wants to pray, everything he wants to cover it with spirituality, he wants to show the Lord said, the Lord has not told me to do this, everything the Lord has not told him. So she wanted to better his life because she's already used to a standard of living. And she wanted to better his life. So she talked to her father. Her father looked at, okay, let's help thee. Since our daughter has married this man from a very humble background, that is very poor, that doesn't even look like he has a clue as to where he's going in life, let us clean this guy up a little. And do you know what the father did? The father was a political man, and he was very connected, and he had connections with all these oil and gas companies. And he put this guy in an oil and gas company. He was working with the oil company. But she said that she was so ashamed. She could not even tell her parents what she was going through. The man was so cruel. The guy was so not nice at all. He was maltreating her. One of the things that he did was that she wanted to give birth, and it was supposed to be a C-section. And because of his spirit, that's why sometimes all these very spiritual men, I have problem with them, because I feel that I always say religion is the opium of the people. Some very bad people hide under spiritual guys to be mean. They just hide under there, and they display their wickedness, they display their cruelty, and they hide it under the Lord said, all those kind of things. And so the guy was cruel to her. I said, no, she cannot do a surgery, she has to give birth like the Hebrew children. What do you mean like the Hebrew women? There are lots of women who, because they insisted that they must give birth like the Hebrew women, they ended up with losing their lives in the process. So this guy insisted, and she said she carried her pregnancy for more than 11 months. That is complete no-no. And of course, that happens in Africa and all those kind of things. That cannot happen here. And that's why you have a lot of marriages that are breaking in this country, in this Western world, because a woman cannot be maltreated by her own husband like that. And because, when you get married, you don't know that. Many ladies don't understand that when you get married, you get entangled, and you are this kind of woman that you think on your own before. You have a very free mind. You have taken care of yourself all these years. If you need to see the doctor, you see the doctor. If you need to make a procedure, you do the procedure. You just inform your family members and you do it. You have been taking care of your own life. But when you get married, emotions, you have had sexual intercourse with this man, you've called him, the head of the family, you kind of give away the reins of your life, of your decision, like, okay, let him be the head, and you let him make decisions, and some of the things that are basic needs, and even if you ask for it, the guy can, you start to talk in such a way that, you will just confuse your mind. He want to make you, start to ask yourself that, is it that am I okay mentally? Because if you have some men are not physically abusive, but they are mentally abusive. They are verbally abusive. They say all sorts of things. So she get married to this man. The guy was now maltreating her. He was hitting her. And of course saying, they're not going to make the leadership know about it. And she was covering for this guy. And the guy will not take care of her. He doesn't give her money. He doesn't take care of her. He doesn't do anything for her. She said she suffered so much. To the point that, let me finish my thought. She suffered so much that somebody had to see her in that very bad pregnant state and had to take her to a hospital far away and helped her with the surgery process. And she was able to give birth to her baby. And when she came back home, the guy said, she disobeyed him. She did this, she did that. And then he said a lot of things that she couldn't have gone to go and give birth, surgery without his consent, and everything becomes you are not submissive and all those kind of things. And it was messing with the lady's head. She had to manage in that relationship until it came to a point where this guy is working in an oil and gas company. He has money, and she was giving popping children. That's the one thing that they do too. They're very spiritual. All they do, they don't have work to do. They don't think of any other thing. They don't have anything fun to do with their lives. They only think of bedroom, popping children. The Bible says you should not withdraw. You should not say no. You should not say no. You must give me. Your body is my body. My body, they will say so many things. They keep talking. They just say a lot of things. And you wonder, this man, is this man not an educated man? Like, why is he thinking like this? And they will so much make you look, because they're so spiritual outside. They will so much vilify. Is that a word? They make you look like the villain. And people think this spiritual brother cannot be mean. He cannot be mean to his wife. He cannot. There are so many men like that, Robin. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you from experience. There are so many things that I've heard.
I agree.
You know what happened? Eventually, the guy started saying that she's cheating. How can somebody to save her life, and that she's cheating, that she must do tests because she was very sick one time, and the guy now said she had contracted HIV, that she must do tests. She said when she did that test and they found that she was negative, that was the day. The guy now said, okay, that he can now take care of her now that she's negative, and that this. She said no, she doesn't need this care. That was the beginning of the breaking up of the marriage, and she ended up saying something. She said she has a daughter. Her daughter will never marry a man that is below her.
Sister Princess.
Their status.
Sister Princess, we've discussed something like this in our previous lives. Let me refresh our minds to that situation. I think the title was Why Good Ladies Marry Bad Guys, something like that.
Yes.
Bad guys do not necessarily mean that they are in the club. That someone is a leader or a pastor doesn't mean the person is a Christian. That's you know why this thing is paining me. We are here looking for women to marry, and these guys are spoiling our market. These guys are spoiling our market. That's why the thing is paining you. They're spoiling my market. Because see, let me put it this way to you. Someone that is truly a Christian and spiritual, for that person to do that kind of 180-degree change in the marriage,
yes,
it is either the person was a very good hypocrite, you understand, or the person lost the faith or something along the line. Someone cannot just, you understand, do that kind of 180-degree, turn like that.
He just married her because of our family background.
No, see,
his own status.
See, bro, David.
There are lots of brothers like that in the church. As I say that women are trying, they're asking for salary and everything. Men are also doing the same thing.
No, let me tell you the difference. Bro, David already mentioned it. For women, they shoot themselves on the foot themselves. Let me tell you how. I've said it before. Women, your job is just to sit down. Bring your counselors by your side. Let the guys be coming. That's your job. Just be watching, interact, scream. The problem, that's different from guys. Guys, we'll be approaching. We muster up courage. We approach, you understand? We muster up courage. We approach one lady. That lady, her head there's AK-47 on her head. We approach the other lady. That one is bomb. We approach the other lady. That one is dynamite. You see, it's a different situation. We are the ones that approach. The ladies just to sit down. Now, if you sit down, see, there's no how you interact with someone. The person will not show you some of their color. They might not show you the whole color, but some of their color. That lady you are telling me, from what you've said, she fell into the trap of spirituality. That's the best I can describe it. Someone that is so-called a Christian will tell you the truth, even if that truth does not favor the person that is telling that truth. Now, the problem with that lady is that in your discussion with the so-called guy or pastor, even if he comes from a low background, his mentality should be at your level. meaning he has vision, he has a goal, he has where he's going at, where you can help him maybe with your connection and everything. But from what you've told me, that man she married has his mind was not even at that level. That's the first thing. You see the problem. They were quote and unquote unequally yoked. I'm using that term technically, not you
in
understand literally.
socially on
Yes,
equal yoke.
exactly. You see, the challenge, like I said, that lady's situation was because she already came from a family that had money.
Yeah. Money
She
doesn't mean anything to her.
no, exactly. So she fell under the trap of spirituality, meaning authority. Oh, this person has authority in the church. The other people have recognized them that they are spiritual, forgetting that the heart of man is desperately wicked. There are many leaders in church. Only God knows what God will tell them at the end,
Hmm.
because what they are doing, they, we only touched on the first principle of being a Christian. The second point I wanted to bring was the problem of leadership influence in this situation. Because at times, whether knowingly or unknowingly, the leadership can set up a structure where they kind of protect the sisters
Yeah.
and more or less ostracize the brothers without giving. So is the reverse of this guy's situation. The leadership will hold authority so tight in the fellowship that brothers that have calling of God would have the freedom to exercise their gifts. Now, the people that they allow to exercise their gift are the yes men. You see the problem? That's most likely what that lady fell into. The yes men that will just say yes, 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 and execute what the leadership wants, while
Hmm.
their own life is not nothing. So this thing is so complicated that at times when someone raises this issue, it will be causing um, backlash from leadership, because you can't tell me. You see, like Bro David was saying something, and you were staring blankly because you might not notice these things we are noticing. We see things happening and we'll be saying it, but leadership will be like, oh no, it's not like that. You don't understand. We keep quiet. After 5 years, that thing has progressed to the direction where it's another thing altogether. But all I can say is this: it's unfortunate in this lady's situation that you mentioned, because in her own case, I guess maybe she needed more mentors or whatever by her side to actually really help her, because that guy that guy was a spiritual mobster.
Actually, also, I want to add that in our own case, although we don't know the full spectrum of the story, but from what she described, she was just. I feel like there's a little bit more emphasis on whatever the pastors approved for her, right? She's coming from a rich background, right? She didn't obviously her parents told her a very very important consideration to look at. There is no way her father will sit down with the guy and talk to him and not identify some of those lapses, and came straight to her and told her about it. But yet she felt like that her spiritual leader is obviously uh, the only authority she needs to look at, right? It's good to listen to your spiritual leader, oh, but in our own case, the problem that was being addressed was not a spirituality problem, was a social problem, which it is very very is an issue, especially when the level of classes is very different, because there are some language, there are some there are some habits that rich people have that poor people cannot understand. And there are some habits that poor people have that rich people cannot understand. It doesn't make any sense, no matter how you describe it to them. I'll give a very typical example. I like to give this example to a lot of my female friends. So there was this guy in my gym, right? He told me he's not from he's a very, very smart guy. Very smart guy. when I was in Nigeria, he told me about this story about him and his uncle. His uncle is well, very, very, very well to do, right? Him, his family, they are okay, right? So he said he visited his father one day, his uncle one day, and he woke up in the morning, big house, everything is good, everything is amazing. So he woke up in the morning the first day, and he was feeling very, very hungry, and then he got up like everybody else. So he said he told his uncle he's hungry, and his uncle said, yeah, yeah, there's tea, there's coffee. He just being a very I have enormous respect for this guy because he learned quickly the habits of the rich. So now this is what he said. He said, his uncle told him that he just looked. At first, he didn't click. He didn't understand what his uncle said. But he observed his uncle. His uncle went to the kitchen, made his coffee, his tea. He was drinking it, reading his newspaper, right? And then he too, he copied his uncle. He made his tea and drank it. But his stomach was still grumbling, like, bro. It was like he didn't even say nothing to his uncle. He just told his uncle, Uncle, I just want to step out a little bit. I just want to take a walk. He went to Mama Put and loaded his stomach.
Wow.
Right? He said that, huh? That was the number one lesson he learned. He said, through his whole time there, he said, rich people don't go about thinking about food. They go about thinking about what value they can provide.
Mm.
Right? He says uncle is never talking about food. Right? And food is not even his priority. He just used food as a fuel to do whatever he needs to do. And if he didn't observe that, if he didn't really use his six senses to understand that difference in dynamic, if somebody else that is very low IQ, we
Oh,
think, his uncle is suffering him,
yeah.
his uncle is being wicked.
Mm.
Or he forgets to understand that the priority of his uncle is not waking up to eat the food. Right? So those are the kind of dynamics that is just this is just one example of the relationship of human being and food. Now
Mm.
imagine the permutation there is when it comes to money. The way poor people look at money is very different from the way rich people look at money,
Right.
right? And money is one of the number one thing that breaks marriage,
That breaks marriages, yes.
right? If you're a guy that is like this, of naturally guys can manage a woman that is coming from very low background because naturally a woman tend to submit to whatever the guy is doing, right? But it's very very difficult for a woman there to actually bring a guy that is down here along, a guy that is not sharp,
Mm.
right? So, well, this example I just told you, this guy, he married a girl that is way above him, but he was able to cope. Why? Because he's understand the silent cues that this lady has been giving him. He learned on the go. That's how he started understanding that okay, there are certain things that people of this level they think about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So so as much as we like to spiritualize everything, yes, we are spiritual people, but our natural tendencies doesn't really go away. Just because I'm a Holy Ghost filled sister does not necessarily mean that because I marry a brother that is coming from low background, just because he saw $10,000 for the first time, he thinks that we need to buy the first Ferrari. Is that not going to break your mind? That is going to break you. Like you're going to think like, what am I doing with this guy?
Yeah.
You
Mentality
know,
matters a lot. That one, I can tell you.
it is crazy,
Yeah.
right? So, and it's funny how a lot of people, like for example, a sister that have played her life away, and then she comes back to church looking for a husband. Do you think that she will have the same mentality of a sister that had preserved her youth? They are different.
Yeah.
They're very different. And that's why, to me, just like Bro Obina said, we have a leadership problem in church. And that's why me, most of my female friends, I always advise them, know Bible for yourself, because if you think that whatever your pastor is telling you is the final say, you be cheating yourself. Because at the end of the day, when that guy is slapping you, that your pastor that told you that is a good guy, right? It's not going to come and save you. The only thing he's going to be telling you is we are going to be praying for you. We are really praying for you, Sister Ronke. We are really, really praying for you, Sister Debbie. Yeah? We my sister, stay strong. Stay strong. The Lord is with you. Eh? And then you see some of these sisters start thinking, is it that why? In fact, the most painful part is the sisters that fall for these things are the ones that actually preserve themselves for a very long time. They didn't play around. But those ones that have played around, they have understood the game. They
Right.
know how to play it very well. They know, just like I was listening to one guy, he was saying, he was saying that what they do is they do bait and switch. So they bait the brother coming if they see a brother like bro Obina now, fine boy, he's very spiritual. This boy must be good for me. Me, I've played my life, finish, I've done all the nonsense I need to do. Now I just need peace in my life. Okay, no problem. I go to bro Obina's church. I'll just be targeting him. What does bro Obina like? Bro Obina like to pray a lot. I'll join prayer warrior. I'll pray. What does bro Obina like? He likes to read the scriptures. I have to study the Bible for 6 months. I have to know it. Every passage that bro Obina quotes, I'll be quoting it back to him. You know, just because they want to marry him. And then when they marry him, worst case is that, especially if they know, some of them, they are very, very smart. They are not, they don't ask simple questions. They ask you questions that will reveal your level of finances, right? And as soon as they know, they don't need, some of them, they are not as basic as asking you what's your salary. What's that? That's for people that are learning. Some of them, they ask you some deep questions that it takes some level of finance for you to do those things. So, for example, if they ask you like, man, S&P 500, I wonder how it is right now, and you start explaining all those things, they'll be like, okay, this guy knows something that I don't know. you know, so that's how they gauge. I'm giving expo now to some of these sisters. but yeah, it doesn't matter how it looks. They will just know that brother Obina is very loaded, even though he's spirit cocoa. Okay, so I have to marry bro Obina by all means necessary, right? They will study you. They have the ability to study um, brothers in church, just like Delilah studied Samson. She knew what Samson eventually likes. She knew that if she try, something will break. And she did. And it worked. And then, brother, they will marry you. Give it 5 years. That's when you start seeing their color. They'll tell you, I'm married to you. We know, that passage of the scriptures that says, once you are married, you are forever married, right?
Yeah.
So, my brother, we are in this, so you have married me. What can you do about it? What are you going to do about it, my brother? That's when you start recounting. Oh my goodness. How did I miss it? How did I miss it? You see? So same thing goes to sisters. Unfortunately, most of the time, the sisters that tend to make the right decision a lot of times are the ones that um, seems to have somehow been through some terrible scenarios, right, in the past, and they've learned their lesson from it, and they've managed to build themselves to a certain level, right? So, because for you to build yourself, you need a little bit of IQ and a little bit of emotional intelligence and all those things. And they're also grounded. They are not the type of person that whatever their leaders we tell them is the right person, is the gospel truth for them. No, they do their own searching and vetting so that they can not find themselves in situations where they are so ashamed to mention to the world that, oh man, this brother that all of you are praising out there is not who he is. We've had a lot of stories of how some pastors do some nonsense in their house, right?
Hmm.
And unfortunately, their wife cannot come out public
We'll talk
and
about it.
talk about it. And you see, this thing is not just a problem of brothers; it's a problem of sisters too. But why we are even complain about the brother side is because it's way, 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 way much easier for sisters. All you have to do, just like Robina said, have somebody by your side. As they are coming, you have that eyes that is looking at them to screen them also, just like you're screening, you know. But if you keep focusing on, oh, I need soft life, I need soft life, my sister, you get that soft life, oh. But unfortunately, not everybody will have a soft life with peace of mind.
Hmm.
A lot of the sisters these days, they get the soft life, but with a little bit of, you know, on the
Heartbreak.
side, on
Bags
the side,
both.
backbones on the side. Yes,
Either verbally or physically.
either verbally or physically. Margaret, I am not married. If you want to know,
Margaret. Margaret. Margaret
I'm not married.
James. David is not
Uh,
married. I
So,
don't know if she's still
uh,
here.
yeah.
Just know if you're married.
So, this topic we can talk about it for forever, but like,
Ages. And it can
just
like it can come from different angles. I know so
just
many people, one of the reasons that they're not married is because they're afraid of divorce. There's a lot of divorce happening. And these are some of the reasons why we have divorce. And may I believe that nowadays there are more problems in marriage. And people say, why is it that the marriages of before last better than the marriages that we have now? The only difference is that nowadays, if women are pained in their marriage, some of them decide that they should keep quiet and not talk. But the more they stay on social media and listen to other people talk, one day they will say, no, I'm ready to talk now. I'm not doing this no more. And that's what social media has given to us, the ability to maybe make a video of when your husband is aggressing you with a secret camera and share it on social media. And people are like, what? This guy is this mean? And then you start seeing those kind of things. And then what happens to the singles? The singles see these things, and then the singles are afraid and like, what? If this is what marriage is all about, I'm not doing. And then the toxic relationship that we talk about, that's another thing. People are going through a lot. And trust me, back in the days, many of our mothers, of course, not too many fathers, but some few fathers, because my husband has told me about a woman that was taller than her husband, huger than him, and giving him, she was giving him some spunking. She was really panabiting the man. The man will be shouting in the house, yeah, yeah, ooh, deliver me, oh, she's sitting on my head, oh, hey, hey. They say, how can a man be so weak? The man was dealing with the man. The woman was huge, and she was dealing with the man. But that doesn't happen a lot in those days. Even if your husband is small, who born you to go and give the guy, the, the whooping of his life? You can't. You can't do that. Because he's the head of a family. Even if your head is small, you're the one that accepted the head. You have to take that head like that. But lots of ladies were just silent in their homes. They weren't talking. They couldn't talk. For them, and many of those marriages were done culturally. And when you're going, they're like, yo, you cannot come back home. In this family, they don't, when you go, you don't come back home. And the woman does not really have a say. And the ladies did not have so much education. They didn't have so much in their own hands. They didn't have lots of financial means to take care of their own self. So they had to be stuck in that marriage because the man is the one that provides for them.
But
The man is the one that takes
sister,
care of
sister,
them. So they stay there.
sister princess, sister
Yes.
princess, you have to put it in the context of that many of those marriages were also not Christian, at least when it happened. Do you understand
Yes.
what I mean?
They weren't
So
Christian.
because you have to put that caveat, because if you don't put that caveat, it will look as if, oh, in the olden days, You understand? These things were also happening at this frequency in the church, and
Even in the
women just
church, even
no,
in the
no, no, what,
church, some women were
no,
going through
no. What
verbal
I mean is
abuse, physical
no, no, no,
abuse, but they weren't talking about it.
no.
Because
What I
you
mean
cannot
is
go and tell on your pastor husband now or
no,
your
no,
leader husband.
no. See, you see, this is the mistake we are making. Pastor, if we count the number of pastors compared to the number of the congregation, the
Yes.
number of pastors is irrelevant, but we keep harping on pastor, pastor, no, no. Of course, these things will happen at the pastoral level, but is the people, the flock, that's the
Yes.
bulk of the thing. And
Yes.
again, if, like you're saying, if what you're saying is true, what it tells me is that we are unserious people. If our leaders can't be honest enough before God when they are failing to confess and take some time off, you understand what I mean? So it's what it's actually telling you is that if you're a Christian, even in this day and age, you better know God for yourself, truly, truly.
Right. Know God
Because
for yourself. Yes.
because if you are looking for like example, like pastor,
Leader.
leader or
In any
whatever,
dimension. When I say
in
pastor, I mean it's nowadays that everybody's a pastor, right? Because they are holding
yes,
pulpits on social media and everywhere.
yes,
And but before,
yes.
even your house carry fellowship leader, even your campus leader, they call them pastors, right?
Okay.
Someone that holds a leadership position, even a choir leader. Sometimes they call them choir CM, choir master, evangelistic coordinator. That there's this kind of reverence that those sisters had for those brothers. Me, I did not have that kind of reverence. Maybe because I've come from, my father was a pastor and I come from a leadership home. So those things don't freak me. No matter how spiritual you are and how much tongue you speak, that those things don't move me. I want to see the soul. I was always searching to see the soul of every man. I want to see what is that thing that will trigger you to show that part of you. And you're not showing on the pulpit when you're shaking it and you are speaking in tongues and saying sister, yes, sister. No, I want to see. I was always the kind of sister that would trigger brothers. I would say things that sisters would like, you say that to him? How can you say that? I say, why can you say that to him? He's a man, he's a human being, somebody's son. My brothers now, they decide to become very spiritual. And they respect them. Are they not still my brothers? They're just guys. So let's stop putting a kind of cap on people. And because they have that kind of cap, they hide under those, they hide their vices under those things. Just find a way. I want ladies and men to be very, very, to stop looking at people based on their their position, their authority in the society, but relate to people more like people. You're going to get married to this person. You're not getting married to his pastoral personality. You're not getting married to his doctor, PhD, or medical doctor, or whatever professor, all those appellations. You're not going to get married to that. You're going to get married to the man. You're going to get married to that person, that individual. And that's what you should be looking at. As a woman too, you're going to get married to the woman. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the soul of that person, that individual, their personality, their character, what they talk, how they get triggered, when they're in hot situation, when they're under stress, how do they relate? That's why I advocate for longer courtship. If you can court for a longer time, it's better. And talk to each other, meet, go to restaurants, eat, watch him when you're walking on the street and water just pours on him and hear how he's going to talk. Watch him how he relates with the people that are subordinate to him. Watch him how he treats people that cannot do anything for him, that don't mean any, that shouldn't normally, like he does, that are not on the same level with him. How does he treat them? Because if the guy is mean, or if the lady is mean, some people are very mean. They are very mean people. You'll see some ladies, they have mates and they are so mean to them. Even before they get married. They are very mean to other people that they feel are inferior to them. That person can never be a good person. Forget about any appellation they have. For me, I don't care who you are. You can be my sister, my brother, my auntie, my mother. I don't care. If you're a mean person, I'll tell you to your face. You are mean. Stop it. You're just mean. If you treat somebody, a human being like yourself, just because you were lucky, my dad always believed something. My dad treated everyone the same way. He just sees us as just human beings. We all come out from the same canal of a woman. We came out without clothes, without properties, without education, without anything. Even if you are born in a very wretched home, you're just a human being. That other person that was born in a very wealthy home could have been born in a poor home. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are born. You're just a human being. And you might be lucky that you're born from a very poor home, and maybe you went to school and you were so lucky, or even you're an orphan in an orphanage, and a rich family just was looking for a child and comes to that orphanage and picks that orphan that normally should have stayed, was rejected, abandoned by the biological parents, and takes that child and cleans that child's life off. And if that child does not tell you that they are orphans, if those parents that adopted him are of the same ethnicity, you will never even know that that child was picked from an orphanage. And the life of that person changes completely. It's just to say that we're just human beings. So if you are with someone, if a man can be so mean, or a woman can be so mean and treat another fellow human with so much disdain, that person can never be a good person. They can never be kind, no matter how much they look at you and say, no, my darling, don't mind that, you human being. Nonsense human being. I'm talking to that person, not you, my darling, not you, my darling. Don't mind my accent, oh. It's just irritating me. How can you be so smelly? Get out of here. That person can never be a good person. Because let's flip the table around. If something happens to you, that darling, clean, beautiful, and you become so sick and so disgusting, or maybe that thing that he looks up to you, that material thing that you have, that makes him to feel that you are worthy for him to, to consider. If that thing drops, how is he going to treat you? He will treat you in the same mean way. I've seen people. Our dad was very, very normal. When he was very sick, you need to see he was different from what he was. And you see lots of rich people, even the owner of Apple, when he was sick, did you see how he looked? Did you see how he looked? And maybe he's pooping on himself. If he doesn't marry a good woman, she will leave him. She will leave him at that point. When they say for better, for worse, think about it. All those ladies that are looking for, how much does he earn? How much does he have? Don't worry. How much does he earn? How much does he have? So that means that if you're getting married to a man because of how much he earns, how much he has, how much he looks, if all those things, he loses his job or loses his business, or he's not as handsome as he is because maybe he had an accident or something happened to him, that means you're going to leave him. If you're marrying somebody because of what they have, how they look, what they possess, if anything happens and they lose that thing that you use, the material thing that you are, that is not really that person. If they lose it, if you don't like that person for who they are, but you like them for what they have or what they are in the society, then you are not ready for marriage. That marriage is materialistic attached, personality attached, and that is not the real thing. If I meet anyone, that's why anyone that gave me that vibe, out. I don't care what you have, who you are, how you look. And I always tell someone, I was telling one lady one time, I said, you want to marry a very handsome man, right? That's very rich and very cool and very, look very touch. That doesn't poop. Let me tell you, this man poops, and his poop might even be smelling more than those other men that you're looking down. His poop might smell worse than it. He poops, okay? Forget about the package. That's number one. Number two, when you marry a guy, because of how he looks, how touch he is, if you get married to him and he becomes a very mean guy, you will know, when you look at him, you will not even see the handsomeness of the man. You only see someone handsome. You only see the fine things of a person when that person is nice to you. If that person is mean to you, everything that you had, you will not even know when you begin to think of how you can even buy the person. You will not know when you think about it. When so much pain and brokenness and hurt and revenge start to build inside of you. If you have the person, I was watching a movie. This guy, he had a stroke. Okay, the guy had a stroke, and he had this aneurysm. His brain, he was in a bad state, and they needed to decide if they were going to use a kind of medication to let the guy live. And who had to sign for him is the wife. When the doctors came and they explained everything to him, to the wife, they need to do this for him. She said, okay, so if you don't do it for him, what will happen? They say, okay, it's 50-50. He might come out and become like a vegetable, might not be very acute mentally and everything, but you still have him alive, and with training and everything, he could get to how he used to be before. And then she said, okay, but if you don't do it, What is the other 50? Say the other 50 that the guy will pass away. She said, don't do it. Ah, the doctors had to think about it. Like, how can a woman just all of a sudden just say, don't do it, let the guy go? That's it. They had to find out that the man was aggressive. So now that she's in a position to decide about his life, she decided to let him go so that she can have a peace. The doctor, one of the doctors said, why don't you just leave him? Say, no, it's difficult, it's more complicated. You don't know this guy. Please. She said, no, you cannot do this. Just leave him. It's just to tell you how much a woman can get to a point where she will hate the man that she so much loved, in quote, because of how he treats her, and vice versa. A man can get to a point where he'll be praying that this woman can change us, even because we're Christians, and you say, oh, God hates divorce, oh, we cannot separate, we cannot divorce, we have to be together, and we can only separate, and if we separate, we cannot remarry. The man will be hoping that if this woman can just go, so that me, I can have my peace. You can avoid that issue if only you are more intentional. So I believe that I agree with all the points that you made.
No, the point I wanted to add to what you were saying, or how will I put it, to clarify to what you were saying was, I think this word or these kind of words, nice, kind, we have to define it in context.
Yes.
Because I often see, even your brother has seen what your daughter said the other day. Ladies, listen carefully. If someone is telling you the truth, but you don't like that truth, and that truth appears harsh, it doesn't mean that person is not kind.
Yeah, of course.
Because we see this thing among even Christian sisters. You're trying to explain to them, this thing is not right. If you do it like this is what will happen. They'll say, oh, you're not kind.
Oh, no, that's not a definition of kindness.
No, but I'm telling you, bro, David knows this thing. This is what we keep hearing. For example, if you tell the lady, oh, we need to base our, everybody has their list of what they look for in who to marry. For example, if you tell a lady and say, your number one on that list should be, that person should be truly God-fearing. The lady will say, leave me alone. You are not kind. I need soft life. I'm telling you, this is the way you understand it. Is not the way many or some Christian ladies understand the word kind, and you understand, gentle in this context. That was what I wanted to raise.
Yeah, no, when I mean kindness, I don't mean someone that is there to satisfy all your materialistic or imaginative, or I don't know what word to say, fantasy lifestyle that you want. That's not it. When I mean someone is kind, someone that is kind is someone that is empathetic, someone that cannot hurt you. When I say hurt you, cannot do anything to outrightly hurt you, will not do anything to outrightly degrade you, just to make you, just make you less than yourself. Will you say Jesus is kind? Yes. If you're able to love someone like you love yourself, or even better than you love yourself, you're kind. You see me, I'm getting married to you. You see me, I just had a baby. We're living in this, this Western world. There is no maid, there is no driver, there's nobody doing anything for us. We're doing all our things ourselves. And you see me, I just had a baby. For example, maybe the lady had a C-section, and your baby poops, and you're calling her to come and clean the poop. You know that she had a C-section and she's in pain. And it takes her a while to even stand up. What does it cost you? Trust me, some men is a big deal for them to clean the poop of their child, to clean the bum of your baby that pooped. That's not being kind. That's not being kind. Another scenario, if you get married to a man in this society where everything is taxable, life is expensive, you have a very good salary, and your husband has a similar salary, but you know that only him alone cannot take care of all the bills of the house, taking care of the children, daycare, taking care of the mortgage if you have a house or rent, taking care of the car. I mean, you want a beautiful car, of course, and you know that you have to pay. You have to pay for that car. It's either you buy it upfront or you pay. You buy it and you pay from your bank, or taking care of feeding. He cannot do all those things at the same time. And you say, no, he's the man. No, he's the man. My money is my money. Your money is our money. Does that make any sense? No, that's just not being reasonable. That if a woman does that and she has the money and she sees that the man is, weighed down by the financial burden of the whole, you want a big house. And unfortunately, those women are very funny. They don't want small houses, because of course they're competing. They want to meet up with the Joneses. They want a very big house, and they don't want to live in this other neighborhood. They want to live in that particular neighborhood, this particular neighborhood. They want a Range Rover. No, not Range Rover. What's the new one? They want a what's that? The car of Tesla, the big brother of Tesla. Cybertruck. They want a Cybertruck. They want to wear Louis Vuitton. They want to wear what are the big names? All the designers you can think about. They are very particular about that.
They want Balenciaga.
Their bags are Valencia. They are everything. Big designers. They want all that. All that. That's the only way the man shows them that he's treating her like a princess. You are all realistic. You are living in the dreamland. That's why it's Cinderella. It happens in Cinderella. And Cinderella is not true. It's a movie that they just set up. And when you see the movie set, my friends, it's not real. There is no house. It's only one position. They used to build all those movie houses. They build it sometimes. And then that area that you're watching, that the house is so nice and the flower is on the floor. And oh my God, when I woke up, there was roses on the floor. In real life, it's not like that. Don't let anybody deceive you. Even social media, don't let anybody deceive you. The real social media content creators that are real, they will show you the real life. They will show you when the house is scattered. They will show you how they can arrange the house. They will show you how some days the house is rough. They will show you some days when everybody's not feeling fine and they're struggling. They will show you some days when they're actually crying. There is nobody, even Princess Kate of Britain, that doesn't have rough days. Every human being that lives on this earth has some good days and some bad days. And that's what I was telling one of our young people one day. I told her, I said, look, let me tell you the truth. When you think that my life is over, it's very miserable, I don't know how I'm going to cope. I say, don't deceive yourself. Even me, I have down days. You see me in church, all pretty sister princess singing and dressing, looking nice with a lovely brother Presley and their lovely children. There are rough days too. There are days I sit in bed and I'm like, oh my God, what have I achieved? How far have I gone with my life? I have expectations that are not met too. I'm just a human being. Even the pastors, there is no Pastor Kunu, he has his own problems. He has just not told you what it is. He has his own problems. He might be having his own health challenges there that you don't know about. What did Paul say? There was a thorn in my flesh. And what did God tell him? My grace is sufficient for you. Everybody has that thing in their life where God is telling them, my grace is sufficient for you. And there is nothing they can do about it. It's the grace of God that is carrying them on. And if they have a ministry to encourage you, they will come out and encourage you. Doesn't mean that they don't have their problems. Doesn't mean that they don't have the challenges. So I'm very, very frank person. I tell you exactly how it is. Don't deceive yourself. Nobody has a perfect life. So when you're getting married, and you say, no, that brother is not like brother Presley, no, Sister Princess marriage was, you don't know what me I went through. There were days that I had to go and do all my things myself to make the marriage happen because my husband was busy other things, doing other things. There are days in my house when my husband is very busy. I don't see him. I see him rarely. My life goes on. When he's not around, I hold the home front. When he's around, it comes in and that's where the kindness comes. A man that understands that, okay, I've not been around for a long time and this woman was holding the home front. Let her sleeping. She's tired. Let her sleeping. That's being kind. That's the being kind I'm talking about. When he comes and he sees that you are sweating, you are stirring the food, and you have to make the soup, and then the floor is getting dirty, there are plates in the sink. Common sense for him to go and start washing the dishes, or clearing the dishwasher, or making sure that the kids have gone to have their bath. That's being kind. But for him to come and sees you all busy, and there are so many things to be done. And what does he do? He takes the remote control, he flips, and it goes from CNN to CBC to CIBC to Al Jazeera, and he's flipping, and go from YouTube to Netflix. That man is not kind. And that thing can make any woman flip. Because in that instance, if the man says, "Oh, is the food not ready?" The next thing you say, because you don't have any, your hand cannot stand up and make food. You can't make food for your own self. You say, okay, the woman is insulting you. She's just under pressure. And she's annoyed that you're just sitting there. And that's because she doesn't talk. It's not somebody like me. Me, I'll come there and drag, hey, come here. You're not supposed to be washing plates. You can wash plates, you can clean, do something, use your initiative. That's me. That's my person. So if you know the kind of woman that you marry, and you know the kind of woman you're going into, and that's how I have always been from campus days, I'll tell those men, you cannot get married to me and sit down and do nothing. I'm sorry. I am not anybody's thing. I am not anybody's slave. I did not come to this world to suffer. You think you like soft life? Me too, I like soft life. But if you are ready to give me soft life, me too, I'll give you soft life. Then we'll give ourselves soft life. Then the life will be soft. There is no cheating in that one. That is being realistic. But you cannot achieve that if you don't know the kind of person that you're getting married to. Me, I cannot marry many brothers. That one for sure. We cannot be husband and wife. It cannot work. We will not even last 1 year together. Because me, I don't take nonsense. I'm a very hardworking woman. I can love you with everything in me. But don't give me trash. And don't make me feel things. Don't try to behave like as if me I'm a fool. I'm a very smart lady. And I see games. I see when people play games and when they're trying to outsmart others. And that one doesn't work with me. If we can get to a point where we have the right expectations, and we're not just imagining things and living in the dream world of Netflix and what do you call it now? Amazon Prime. And what other movies do they have? If you get out of that world and you come into the real world, no more entertainment, but you're in the real world and you say, what can I do to make my marriage work? Or what can I do as a Christian single to find a good Christian man? And what should I be looking for in a Christian man? What are the main foundation of a good man? That's the number one thing. What makes a man a good man? And what is my own definition of a good man? First start by what is a good man? And what is my own definition of a good man? So weigh the two together. If it doesn't go together, then you're on the wrong track. Your expectation is wrong. You're on the wrong expectations. So you need to work on yourself. If you need therapy, go for therapy. Go for therapy so that you can wash your brain away from all those Mona Lisa movies and everything that you'll be watching. Mamma Mia. That's not the real world. Clean your brain. Try to work on your expectations. Work on your imaginations. And if you're a woman and you like to just paint your nails and put fake nails and you don't want to work, you don't want to do anything for yourself, you will not get a good man. You will not get. Don't let anybody deceive you. You will not get. You will get one that will want you for whatever he wants you to do. And when he, maybe you want to be a toy. If you want to be a sex toy, you'll be one. Then you get those old men that need you for that. Only for that one. And after a while, you get tired and say, I'm not only that. But that's what you only presented yourself as. There's nothing more that the guy can find with you. But if you want a man that you can build with, you start to find the pillars. Once you have the right pillars, then you can build a good house on the right pillars. But if you don't have a good pillar and you don't have a good foundation, what are you thinking? Your house is going to crumble. So let's start from that. What is a definition of a good man? I think that's the topic of a good next movie. What is a definition of a good woman? Good Christian woman? Another video. Then we'll chime in and look at it. And so all the women will bring all their expectations and align it, set it side by side. Am I really looking for a good man, or am I looking for a dream man? Okay? There's a difference between good man and fantasy man. Okay? So when we start looking at the real thing, in the real world, in the real sense of the word, then you will now say, now, okay, now I'm ready for my marriage to work. So men need therapy if they are in the wrong path. Women need therapy if they're in the wrong path. Or counseling, or whatever it is. You know, in some part of the world, therapy is very expensive. But you can get some counseling. Sit down and talk with someone. Ask some married people, what do you think? What makes a good marriage? What do you think I should be looking for? No, good man. I've been single for so long. I've been looking at all the men on social media, and they don't meet my expectations. All the men that I'm seeing, and they don't want to marry. They want more, and they want us to just, they say they want to know me, but they want me to be coming to their house and to come and be cleaning and to come and be taking care of their things. If you are going to a man's house and go from man to man, going to clean, you are only a housemaid. You are a housemaid. If you know, you are deceiving yourself. When you go there, you wear nonsense clothes. You show your chest, you show your back. You will just use you. He will eat your food. You will clean his house. He will use you, and he will still surprise you and bring the ideal woman home. And it will not be you. Don't deceive yourself. That is not how
Can,
we get.
can I also just add to that statement, because like a lot of people, but it's not very common in the church like that, but it's becoming common now in the church. Like a lot of people think that just because I offer up my body is a leverage, this very strong leverage to demand for commitment.
Mm.
You have to understand that, listen, as a woman, your only number one job is to preserve your chastity. Hmm? As a guy, your only number one job is to preserve your commitment to a woman. so, so if you think that your number one value, you are offering it out for free for a bunch of, is it a lot of time? Some of them is just a gift of a bag. Some of them it is a. Some of them it's not even gift of bag. It's not even gift of bag. Some of them is just mere eating out.
Mm.
Some of them is for house rent.
Shawarma.
Some of them is for shawarma. All these things. You are losing out on opportunity, because a guy, we like to test. We like to test your ability to resist temptation,
Yeah.
right? If a guy is trying to test you to see if you're going to give in easily, and you give in your mind, you're thinking that you are offering love, you're making a big mistake, because he has already. We have boxes in our head. There's this one that is recreational only purpose,
Mm.
and there's this one that we see that, well, this one look like my mother. Or you understand?
Yeah.
This one, if I bring her to my mother, certified,
That's right.
because I know very well. Generally speaking, if a woman look at another woman, you talk to another woman, there are certain things that you just see that, this one is trying to play games.
Mm.
Same thing goes for men, right? If generally speaking, if I speak to a guy that is dating a lady, a lot of times you pick up on some cues. You just know that this guy just is playing for keeps, man. Yeah, you understand. So, and as much as we don't want to believe that these things are in the church, they are right there in the church. It's just
Mm.
used in a different language. We use different terminologies in the church. We say, brother, sister, uh, Kelechi, sister Kelechi, or sister Megan. Um, I have this thing happening in my house. It's my birthday coming up. I want you to come to my house, and we are going to have a good time. And you too, you go. You're not going with 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 the mindset of anything. You're just going with a free mind. Sometimes it might just be a test. Sometimes it's just trying to see if you are for recreational purposes only, right? So you have to be very, very as a sister, you have to be very, very aware that, listen, if you want if your goal is to get married to a good husband, most importantly is you don't necessarily need to go to his house to stay with him. There are some basic questions you need to be asking. What are his visions? What are his
Yeah.
where is his head at when it comes to the things of God? What is his understanding of how uh, finance is? What is his understanding of forgiveness? What is his understanding of grudges? Those are the most important thing than talking about where you're going to go and enjoy yourself next, or what's the happening restaurant right now. As much as that's good to do, like some people are foodies and stuff like that. Like for me, I'm a foodie, right? But like, doesn't necessarily mean that just because I take you out on a in a restaurant and we're having a good time, asking you very very innocent question, doesn't mean I'm not analyzing you. I'm analyzing you. And funny as it seems, right? You don't necessarily need to tell me that I'm a liar before I know that you're a liar. You don't necessarily need to tell me that I'm a very wicked person for me to know that you're a very wicked person. It's just I'll just create the right scenarios, and you will reveal yourself. But I will give you a lot of opportunities to redeem yourself.
Mhm.
But still, unfortunately, a lot of these sisters will still. The summary of it all is we need to. I want to talk to the leaders in church now. Leaders in church needs to be brutally honest with our sisters. A lot of them lie to them. That's why they keep living in delusion. They don't tell them the whole truth. They don't tell them that listen, this is actually what works in the marriage. It's not all this bells and roses, right? A brother that you're thinking that you're always focusing on a brother that is in a certain way. Is a certain no, those are not the things that makes a good marriage. In fact, sometimes it's as simple as just looking at your parents. Some people, a lot of people have good parents. Look at your parents. What did your father do? What did your mother do? You can learn a lot of things from them. You don't need to take everything that they did and adapt it. You have brothers. You have male friends. Look at their pattern. Why do you feel like this your brother is a good brother? What are the traits of this your brother that are in this guy that you're considering to marry? You can see it. Does he have it? Does he not have it? Right? If your brother is a wayward brother, then you know that this is the type of quality that I should be looking for in a guy that is a red flag.
Right.
You know, if you know that your brother is the type of brother that has been playing around with a lot of women, you need to get close to him so you understand some of his games, so that you can also identify, okay, a brother that is playing games in church too, you know. And then expectations is the number one. I was reading a research the other day. They said most divorces happen because of unmet expectations, especially for women,
Mm.
right? They believe that because I am marrying this guy with this so and so status or so and so, they're expecting something, right? And that expectation is not met for a couple of years. They get frustrated and they want to opt out, right? And then for the guys, same thing. Like a lot of guys marry because they feel like, especially guys that have kept themselves for a very long, for a while, they marry for the purpose of pleasure. They think that okay, if I'm marrying every day is going to be pleasure. Oh my God, it's going to be wonderful pleasure. Or they find out that there are days that sister is not willing to look at your face. Oh. And then they'll be like, oh my God. Unmet expectations, right?
Yeah.
You see? So things like that, it happens in both ways. And then lastly, I just want to say that a lot of women tend to think that it's only women that are suffering in marriages. It's not true. Just that men don't like to talk about their problems openly.
Mm.
Man to man, for example, me and Bro Obina, we call ourselves, we talk about these things. Those things that we talk about is not something that we can just openly go and be blotting out unnecessarily, just like that, right? So don't think that is a sister. Don't think that because there are so many um, cases that women like to cry foul, even though some in some cases, if you really investigate it, it's a bloody lie, pure lies. But we now automatically think that men too don't suffer. No, there are sometimes in marriage, sometimes you marry a wrong person. It's up to you to adapt to the situation and see, okay, how can we make it better? How can we work with what we have? And there are some marriages that are actually it started on the wrong foot, but at the end of the day, it becomes glorious one, right? So if people don't have the expectations of like is it possibility Akani or something like that that says something along the lines of marriage is a institution of learning. It's where you get to really learn a lot of things, even about yourself. Even yourself, there are some things that you don't even know about yourself until you happen to live with somebody for 3 years. Then you know, I didn't know that I was such a quiet person. Or I didn't know that I talk a lot. Or I didn't know that I am this kind of person, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes your spouse become your your mirror
Mhm.
in the sense that there are certain things that you feel like you can handle until you find yourself in a marriage. That's when you realize, maybe I wasn't that perfect the way I thought I was. you know, so so you realize that omo, this part I need to work on it. I- if you go with that kind of mindset, that's when you start realizing that marriage is a work of art, right? A work of art, meaning that there's effort involved. Like there's a constant evolution going on, constant evolution going on. Just like Christianity it's not a one thing. You just
Mm.
first day you think about the cross, how Jesus Christ was nailed on the cross. Oh, you're feeling so remorseful, and then after a week or so, that feeling doesn't stay with you anymore. What do? You have to constantly go to the Bible to remind yourself of all those things. If not, it will with time it will not stay. So it's just like we are working out our salvation daily with trembling,
Fear and trembling.
fear and trembling. The same way, uh, the marriage to me, I feel like, especially now in this age and time where you're constantly pushed both by friends, wrong friends or good friends, colleagues at work, family members, even your enemies, they're pushing you, they're pushing you to do the wrong things. You have to constantly ground yourself, and that's why sometimes you have to learn to accept uh, some very very strong advice, right? You see, for men, it's easier for men. It's easier to advise men because men we are trained to. It's either it's either you go through this pain or the world will show you. You have no other way around it. But women, we are always constantly trying to cover women. Like uh, women we like to tell them all the nice. No, don't worry about this. You're good. You're good. You're good. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about this. But men, we are always very hard. Yeah, you cannot do this. So you have to even parenting. If you look at parenting, a lot of parents are very hard on the boys than the guys, the women, right? And so when you start when people start telling you the truth, a lot of times it doesn't sound really really appealing to the ears, but unfortunately, it affects you at the end of the day. And you have to understand that if you as a sister, you don't listen and like all these things we are saying today now. There are so many things that we said that will be very, very offensive to some sisters. They will be pick strong offense to it. But the smart ones will take what we're saying and really dissect it out, try to understand it and think to themselves, okay, am I really, really interested in getting a husband? If so, then maybe some of these things that these guys are saying, of course, is very offensive to me, but like, are they saying the truth? Is it true? Can I verify it? Can I start noticing it and see how can I improve as a person? Like, oh, how can I present myself in a better way? That okay, all these brothers that they're describing that they're not all that stupid. Just because they're telling you all the nice things doesn't mean that they're not they're not constantly scanning and observing you. Now, if you think that way, you start thinking, okay, maybe these are the things I need to work on. These are the things that I need to work on. Same goes for guys. Guys, we already know. A lot of us we know our place. We don't look at when we're approaching a sister. We always approach sister that we feel like we can handle.
Yeah.
Right? We don't go. A lot of times, men, brothers don't go beyond what is obtainable for them. It's just sisters that always think that I must get that number one guy that all sisters is going for. My sister, you cry. Your pillow will be wet all the nights. You will cry. You will cry. And the funny thing is, I'll just give you expo sisters out there. The funny thing is, the creme de la creme of brothers, a lot of times they're not flashy. They are very, very simple. They look very, very simple. The ones that are flashy that you look, oh, designer clothes, Rolex. A lot of times, those things they have is borrowed. It's not real. Yeah. So, so you just be shooting yourself in the foot, my sister. That's what like they're looking for. You will suffer. so, 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 in closing, please pray about it and
Yeah.
don't just don't just listen to what your quote unquote father in the Lord tells you. Ultimately, God is your father, not that
Not
person you
everyone.
meet in church and he will tell you things. I saw a vision. This brother is your this brother is your husband. It doesn't work that way. Have your own personal relationship with God. Know when this person is the person that God wants you to marry, even though he might not look the part. Um, Last story. Sister Bumi told me one. I know you know
So,
her now. One
okay.
story about her personal experience with how she finally got convinced to marry her husband. She said, from the outside, she should look at her husband that this brother, this brother, man, you know. But she said when she get to know, she prayed about it, prayed about it, prayed about it. Her spirit is telling her, this is your husband, or this is your husband. But her mind is telling her, no, 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 I don't want to suffer. No, no. You understand? He said, but she's like, she prayed, 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 but she couldn't hold it. She just had to like continue. Then one day she happened to visit this family. Then she starts seeing something. She's like, oh, so this is how this thing is really here. Oh. My assumption of what I was seeing is actually wrong. Oh.
Oh no, she went to a house. She said she went
Yes,
to a house and
yeah.
she had to visit a friend. And that friend gave her the address of a house. And then when she got to the house, ah, the house looked so not nice, so ugly on the outside, these old looking African houses. And she was like, why is this person living in this kind of house? This
Mhm.
whole sister that looks living in this kind of house, why? She said, okay, well, this is the address. Let me go in. So she went in. She said when she went in, oh my
She was
God,
like, whoa.
all the amazing things I ever think about was in that house. She looked at me and said, "Oh my God, that this house from the outside, you will never think that anything good will come out of this place." And that was when God started talking to her. The man
You
that I
see?
told you, you say because of the packaging outside, it's not good. That's not what you want. You want the one that is flashy and
Where's my sister Bumi now?
this that woman is sharing, she was sharing a true life story.
So,
No, but
so,
that story is very deep. She said
so,
that
so
was
you
when she
see,
told herself that no, God, I'm ready to do your will. I'm
so
ready to
you
do your
see,
will.
for me,
And
what I took from,
that's how she find herself, you know. She realized that the husband that she wanted to marry, that she eventually married now, he comes from a very sweet home. He treats her very nice. He treats her so nice. That the guy, he even he worked in oil company. They eventually traveled abroad together. They've been living the sweet. She says he's the best husband ever. But if she had looked at the packaging, how it looked from outside, would have missed it.
so in essence, what are we saying? If you have really the Spirit of God in you, just like you profess you are speaking in tongues and all of that, better really know God for yourself, because there are some things that only God can reveal to you. Your pastor will not reveal to you. There are some things that even your family members cannot reveal to you. I
Mm.
can give another story, similar story. This is a story of one couple in Abu Dhabi. This one, she's it's not from coming from the Christian point of view now per se, but she said she had a very strong conviction that the husband she wanted to marry, the guy's background is a bit rough. Like,
Mm.
it's not that they don't have money; they have things, right? But the home, his family is a polygamous family, right? A lot of chaos is happening there. So, but the guy seems to be very different from his whole entire family, right? So she just focused on him rather than looking at the whole thing. And then, even when she wanted to get married to him, the mother of the guy said no, no way. Even up to today, they still have that beef, silent beef. The mother of the guy didn't want her to marry him, but
Mm.
but they eloped. They got married. They got married, and but then she said that what taught her from that is that sometimes the background of a person doesn't necessarily define who that person is,
Mm.
right? Like, the way he's treating her is 360-degree from what she
Family
saw
came from.
in the family. His immediate brother, nonsense, right? Why? Because they will send this guy money to go and take care of his family. He refused to work. Oh. He will take that money and go to the beer parlor and spend it. And on top of that, he will come back home. He will tell his wife to bring the salary that she brought so that he can use it again. And if she doesn't, he will beat her up. That's the brother to the man that she
Husband
married.
that she married. Mm.
You see the contrast, right?
Mm.
So that's why for us as a Christian, it's different. Like, you have the Holy Spirit to guide you. You have to speak to God. Sometimes you don't just look at things and then you think that is what it is. Sometimes you will see a brother, he looks so sweet. You don't know the background of that family. You don't know the kind of witchcraft that is happening there,
Mm.
right? You got married there. You now realize that you're having some funny sicknesses.
Mm-hmm.
You you'll be having some kind of like I don't know if you've heard about some people that used to have these sleep problems where something's always chasing them all the time in their dreams, and they're wondering like, why? You be praying. You don't know that you've married into a family that have had some serious covenant issues
Mm.
with their grandparents and all that.
Yeah.
But in your mind, you think that you married for soft life. You will suffer. You understand? So
Yeah.
it's we should all learn not to just make marriage as a very simple thing that it's just about what can I get in terms of worldly things. So if you want peace, real peace, because at the end of the day, even if you have all these good things that we are all striving for, if you don't have peace to enjoy it, you take your life at
Yeah.
some point. It's a pandemic that is happening in this part of the world, right? I mean, like a lot of people, they have the means, but they pay heavily for therapy. They
Yeah.
pay heavily for therapy, and still it's not solved. They still have problems.
Yeah.
You'll be saying that. I don't know. There was one guy in the church one time. One Caucasian guy. He was telling me about his experience. His family, they are well to do, but
Mhm.
then this guy literally told me that last weekend I had the thought of taking a gun and going to shoot people. I'm like, how?
Wow.
But
That,
if you
that,
see him in church, very sweet brother.
they
Very
should
sweet.
have they should have told the police about him. That kind of person might be
So I
very
asked him like, why? What's going on? He said, well, I thank God. I started reading the Bible. All these thoughts that suppressing little by little, little by little. And he said, but honestly, I can tell you that I used to have these thoughts of doing those things, right?
wow. Maybe I
And
need a lot of that.
exactly.
And then you
So
got somebody get who got married that one. Yeah.
there you go. And then he told me about his family of they used to do some witchcraft. I'm like, wow. It's not just Africans that do those type of
Witchcraft.
stuff.
Yeah, of course. Witchcraft is everywhere.
See? So we've said a lot of things. It's
Yeah.
up to you
So
to
at the end of the day, it's a
pick
choice,
pick
right? You get married for yourself.
pick your happiness or pick your sorrows.
That's
Uh,
right.
that's my last parting words.
Yeah, I think that's all. I don't know, Robin. Do you have any parting words?
Um, I don't know if I will call this pattern words, but as Apostle Paul said, he said, I caught them with guile. Proverbs 31 is a favorite passage for sisters program. So I guess that would be my pattern words to give it to sisters to look at it from the broader's perspective.
Mm.
Proverbs 31, I think it is verse 10, where it says, a, a virtuous woman who can find her price is above rubies.
Yeah.
Till today, I believe that that scripture is still true. So any lady that says, "Oh, I want a nice brother, I want a good brother," think of it this way: am I a virtuous woman? That even my worth, many ladies say, "Do you know my worth?" Even no, my worth cannot be quantified in terms of, you understand, rare, precious materials or precious metals. Then in that Proverbs 31, if we go to, I think between verse 17 to 25, where it says, and the heart of her husband safely trusts in her, and her husband has no fear for spoil, something like that. The question for the lady would be, if I marry this man, can this man leave some things in my hand and have no fear that I will spoil or scatter this thing? That's another thought to consider. That Proverbs 31, I think is verse 30, where it says, favor is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Now, I know ladies want soft life, but they should also look at it from the brother's perspective, meaning, okay, I'm pretty right now, but the Bible says that beauty is vain. That's how the Bible sees it. It says charm is deceitful, but it says a woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. I tie it back to how we started in terms of, are we really Christians? That we have to get our fundamental right. It is one thing for sisters to say, okay, I'm looking for a man that is kind and all these things. Correct, no problem. But you yourself, ask yourself this question: are you a Christian? The man, if the man is 6 feet away from you, when he looks at you, can he say, "Ah, that's a Christian"? Because that man that you are looking for that would treat you kind, nice, let's say even that man is in your orbit. If he looks at you from 6 feet away, can he say, "Ah, I see something in that lady, let me approach her"? You see what I mean? So those are my pattern words anyway.
Thank you so
That,
much. Thank you so much. Yeah, so thank you so much for all your contributions. To the single ladies, I only say you've heard what the brothers have said, and it's very important to prepare for marriage. Okay, it's not just wanting, desiring marriage, but are you prepared? Are you prepared? I know many ladies are struggling. They are old, they are advancing in age, but they are not emotionally mature. So many ladies are not emotionally mature. They don't know what it means to be emotionally stable. Because marriage will test you, eh? It will test your patience, it will test anything that you profess that you have, it will test it. So are you ready? And many of those ladies that say they want a man that will do this and that for them, the question that I throw to them is, are you financially stable? What you want, do you have it? Are you able to also bring something, that you can say, okay, this is what I have? And I always say this all the time, like, um, ladies that will easily get bored in their marriage are those ladies that don't have anything that they're doing for their own selves. If you don't have your own passion, you don't have anything that you're doing, you'll be a gum gum, always attached, following you, be so attached to your husband. You don't have any life for yourself. You don't have any value to add to your own self. You don't have anything that you say, well, this is my little project that I'm doing that keeps me busy. And so my husband can go and do his thing from time to time. Let him just be, and I can be. We're one, yes. One in heart, one in spirit, one in mind, but there should be that passion. You should all have your own passion, that thing that keeps you, that drives you, that keeps you going. That sometimes your husband should be able to pull you and say, come now, you didn't even see me, come and see my face now, I'm here. That's because you are very busy. And many ladies also, they don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to talk. Trust me, they don't know how to talk. When you talk to them, you're like, what's wrong with this one? They don't know how to talk. You need to work on your communication skills. Learn how to talk. Always think before you talk. Listen to yourself before you open your mouth and just say things. And some ladies also come from their own bad experiences. Maybe whatever has happened in the past. Every man is not that man that hurt you. It's not your father that hurt you. So you cannot try to pin every man. All men are not this, all men are that, all men. No, not all men. That's generalization. And when people generalize, it shows that they've not healed from that pain of the past. And when you don't heal, you bring your hurt into that new relationship, and you look at people from the lens of your hurt. Okay? And when you look at people from the length of your hurt, then what do they say? Hurt people hurt people. Right? They say people that are hurt, they always hurt other people. But people that are healed, you expect to find healing with them, because their words will be healing, their behavior will be healing. They will always look for peace. They always strive for peace. They will always strive to say, okay, what's the way forward? Even when they meet a bump in life, they always think, oh, what's the way forward? How can we solve this? How can we make this work out? How can we together as a team make this what we want it to be? So sometimes marriage is not just about praying and saying, oh, I'm praying about it. If it's God's will, God will bring him. No, it will not just fall from heaven. Some people are just attracted by your personality. So it's more than just prayer. There's also prayer. Prayer is very important. It's a cardinal thing. And growth. You need to grow in every aspect. In your mind, in your finance, you should grow in your emotions, in your communication, in your view about life, in your exposure. Read books, go to seminars, listen to podcasts that will develop your IQ, your mindset, your view, your perception about life. You need all those things. That's preparation. And when you prepare, they say preparation attracts opportunity, right? If you're well prepared, definitely you just open your mouth and talk, or maybe what you write online, someone will just, what we say, that's your wife right there. That lady there is your wife, because of the way you talk, the way you relate to things, the way you respond to comments and all that. So, and ladies, please, let's stop looking. Let's stop looking. And even men, stop looking for perfect looks. Tall, dark, and handsome. Rich, billionaire. It's more than that. Marriage is more than that. People expect unrealistic expectations has kept a lot of people unmarried up to today. They are just choosing. And before they realize it, they're already 45. Be careful so that you not wake up one day and, oh, I'm already 42. Oh my God. No. That's because you're looking for perfect. At that time, they'll not be looking for anything at all. They'll be ready to even marry a widower with 5 children. Is that not why? When you would have just stayed together, married the brother with whom you grow together, and then you have the number of children that you have. Otherwise, you will just be there taking care of such a burden just because you wanted a man. Eventually, you just no. Let's stop all those things and work on your own self. Work on knowing God yourself, reading the Bible for yourself, hearing what is God telling me. Work on your own patience. Work on your own spiritual alertness. So many ladies fall into the wrong trap because they have nothing, zero discernment, zero. That's why a guy can come, a Yahoo boy can come and play a good Christian girl, and you are wondering, does God not speak to his people anymore? What's going on? How come you did not hear? You did not know anything. You did not know that this guy is a Yahoo boy. You did not see any signs. And most times, if you are in a conversation with those ladies, you realize that the red flags are there. They are staring at them, but they're looking away from it. No, it doesn't matter. It's just because I am the one that. No, what do you mean? This is red flag. This guy is talking rubbish. Listen to him now. He's already telling you how he's going to do. Why are you still making excuses for this man? And then when they get married and there's problems, you're asking them, "Do you not see those red flags?" Yeah, I did, but I didn't understand it that way. I didn't know that. I thought that when you get married, you change. Who changes? You change into the worse. Anything that you see during courtship, when you are courting that guy, or people are saying dating now, or you are in a relationship with that guy, anything that you see, once you get married, it's going to go higher. If the guy is not kind, it will become more kind. If the guy is lazy, laziness pro max, you are ready for it. If the guy does not do anything, you will see it. More of that. Whatever a guy tells you, just believe it. That's the truth. He's telling you exactly what he's going to do. If a man says, I don't believe that I should be the one to take care of children in the marriage, that's the woman's responsibility. Why now? Why? My mother always was the one taking care of all the children at home. My dad doesn't do anything. No, that's woman's responsibility. Just know that's how that man is. When you get married, you cannot change him. That's how he is. He already told you. Why are you going to stick your head where you know that is what it is? So don't deceive yourself. Listen. Okay? This is my final word for ladies. Listen. Stop looking at the shoe, this watch, the car he's driving, what salary he's earning. All those things don't matter. If the man has the salary and doesn't give it to you, like you see some men in Europe, the woman will always come to the man. Hey, I want to buy this. Okay, how much do you need? 50 euro. Okay, take your 50 euro. She can never go out and buy any other thing because the man has given her 50 euro. He will never give her. She doesn't know how much her husband earns. The woman doesn't know how much her husband earns. He doesn't know where her husband keeps money. That's why you see some women that if their husband passes away by mistake, the man is even wealthy, but the woman doesn't know that the man has money because he doesn't trust her enough to share his fund. If you can trust each other enough to the Bible said that they were naked and they were not ashamed. That's nakedness in everything, finances, everything. If there are still places where you are ashamed that you are not naked to each other, and he cannot be naked with you, and he says, my father used to do like this. Me, I cannot do what my father did not do. I cannot do what my father did not do. That man is not ready. He's not emotionally ready. Trust me. As long as he's not committing sin. Any other thing like taking care of the home, making you, enjoy your life, treating you like a queen, and he says, no. I can't do this because my father. Oh, we're not marrying to replicate the marriages of our parents. We're marrying to create our own marriage and make it better. We learn from our parents, okay? There are things you learn from your mother. There are things you learn from your father. And then you take it and make it better. You build upon it and create something better than that. That's the goal. Our parents want us to be better than them, not to be exactly like them. And think about it. Your parents married in what year? In those years over there. And they married based on their own exposure. But you have so much exposure. You have so many books you can read. You have so many good examples you can learn from. You have so many ways. And the world is different from what it used to be. In those days, men take care of everything in the home, and women, the man takes care of everything finance. The woman takes care of everything in the home. But nowadays, women are bringing to the table too. They have to contribute financially. So the man also, you just let it be your home. If you are alone, All the single brothers, are they not washing their clothes? Are you not washing your clothes yourself? Is anybody washing and folding your clothes? Are you not
Well,
doing it yourself?
that's beside the point
No, no,
because
I'm asking now. I'm just talking about taking care of in the home. When you get
Mhm.
married and there is heap of clothes and your wife is busy, you won't fold clothes.
That's again, I keep saying what I'm saying. That's beside the point. The
Why is
reason
it?
why the reason why I keep saying that's beside the point is this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like going into these details because if you don't get the number one right, every other thing is secondary to me. Number one to me is are you truly a Christian? Because if you're truly a Christian, every other thing, trust me, will fall in line. And if something is not falling in line, once the other party, the other spouse, brings your attention to the other thing that is not falling in line, you yourself will see and learn
We have to round
quickly
up.
and adjust. That's why I don't like going into these details because from what I see, even people that are married right now, older than me, I see their marriages and I say the foundation is not there. All
Yeah.
this dragging about, oh, the woman's money, the man's money, the child, taking care of the child, washing the clothes, and this and that.
There are small,
How
small
it
things. Okay, I
exactly
agree with you.
how it registered in my mind is we have gotten so
There's rubbish
worldly.
class in this room.
We have gotten so worldly that we forget the fundamentals God has given unto us, and we are trying to build skyscraper. Anyway, that's the
Okay,
much I
now.
have to say.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that maybe I have to connect with my phone until then.
No, I mean we can
Yeah.
end it at this
So
stage
well, we
if
have come to
if
the end of this live, and
yeah.
because there's a meeting that's going to take my daughter is going to have a class in this office here, so I'm going to have to go. Thank you so much. I hope you have learned something. You have been blessed, and then we'll see you in another time. Robina does not agree with me on that point, and we're going to talk about it next time. Thank you, David, for coming. Thank you, Robina. Bye.
Okay, bye bye.